Hi, Jason Solis here from jason-solis.com. That's jason-salas.com. Go visit if you can. I've got another 10 ideas for you. Wrote these on the bus coming down here to Geekdom, downtown San Antonio, an awesome place. So let's just get into it. This is 10 predictions for the future. Now, I'll just preface this by saying these are just things that came to mind. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Go ahead and comment below. And I'll also put this list down there so you'll remember what they are. Number 1, no more movies. And what does that mean? Okay, well, movies as we know it, these cinematic releases, I just don't see them happening. That's not to say that we won't have re-releases and movie houses that play old movies. I just don't see movies, the 2-hour span of time thing happening in the future. I see it as we'll see more maybe 8-part series condensed, like a mini-series for things like YouTube, Netflix and whatnot, and that's where the money's going to go to create those things, to tell a longer story. 2, no more cars. Okay, now I'm not saying that we're not going to drive on the streets or whatnot. I'm just saying that we're not going to have cars as we know it. People, you won't have 1 car per person or 3 cars per 3-person family. You'll see more like a better increase, or rather improved transportation, where it's more driverless cars that are going routinely around neighborhoods and whatnot. People have a subscription to it, much like a monthly bus pass or something like that, but instead of going to a bus stop, it's going to stop right at your house, and then if you miss that one, there's going to be another one in 5 minutes or whatnot. So you just go out, boom, 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 more stops. That'll eliminate, of course, the car manufacturers as a whole, if you will. It'll also eliminate a lot of the streets maintenance, meaning because they're programmed, you don't have to have different people going different speeds. You'll just have a continuous line, and you just need 1 lane, if you will, or 2 lanes, 1 lane for passing and 1 lane for stopping. Okay, 3, no more social media. That means no more Facebook, no more Instagram, no more any of these things. I think they're going to be gone. I think that is actually just a fad of our era right now, this current era. I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see more localized communication, more localized groups. And again, I've always said this and I'll stick by it, email. People are going to gravitate more towards email, and they're going to speak that way. And if they are talking to each other, they'll talk to each other through like a chat room or some sort of a webinar or like a Google Hangouts type session. 4, mandatory LASIK. Now, when I say mandatory, I mean as mandatory as, say, vaccines are mandatory right now. There's people who won't get vaccines, who don't believe in them, and I think there's going to be people who don't believe in LASIK. They don't want them. But that's something that is, the LASIK is going to be provided for free, and if you say I'm not going to get it, I'm going to have glasses, then that cost is going to be on you. The reason I say that is because when you get glasses, your eyesight usually doesn't get better. It just progressively gets worse, and there's more cost associated with it. If you just have LASIK across the board, then you don't have that added cost. Now, some people may say, well, if you get LASIK, you might have to have reading glasses and whatnot, but you can get those at the drugstore for like, what, $4, something like that. 5, okay, big box department stores, places like this that are basically being abandoned, even malls and things of that nature, are going to be reconfigured. So first I'm going to say this, zoning is going to change a little bit so that it's both residential and commerce all mixed together. We're going to get rid of like just commerce areas. So you'll have these big box like Sears. Let's say Sears is no longer in their big department store, right? What do you do with this big box? And no other department store is going to, if Sears couldn't make it, who else is going to make it, right? So what I see happening is that you're going to see co-housing communities go into places like that. They'll reconfigure the inside to make their own co-housing community with maybe even coffee shops inside or whatnot, but that's closed off to the public. The only way you get in is kind of like a gated community, but instead of gated community, it's like locked doors on both sides and everything like that. They have their own security system inside, and maybe there's like 40 or 50 different little apartments or dwellings within that, with some shops or community kitchens that they work in. and they build that however they want. And so you'll have these different co-housing communities, smaller little communities, villages, if you will, mini villages made out of these big boxes that are just sitting there doing nothing. Okay, where am I at? Okay, 6, metro exodus to rural planned towns. That means that people who are living in, as much as there was in a slew of people who went from rural environments to city environments, I think we're going to see that flip. But we're not going to see people just go and just live out in the country, you know, like the old John Prine song, I'm going to move out to the country, you know, throw out your TV. I think we're going to see these smaller planned communities, these smaller planned towns that have things that people actually want. People from metro areas will gravitate towards there, and it's a buy-in type thing. So that means that they will, you know, sell their house, sell everything. It's very much like co-housing, but you're actually going into a city. You're buying into a city maybe for $100,000. You are buying into that city, and you're paying a mortgage, if you will, to the city for the luxury or the right to live in that city and have that environment. Now, why do I say this? Well, one, I think people are moving towards their wanting to grow more of their own food. They're wanting to have some association with animals. They're wanting some more nature, and they're being more isolated, but at the same time they're creating, I think as humans, we're communal creatures. We want to be with other people in some sort of a tribe. Not toxic tribalism. We're talking like just being a part of a tribe. It's like the new Amish, if you will. It's the next stage. So some of these environments might be artist communities, and maybe you're thinking, oh, it's a commune. Possibly you could say it's something like that, but it's a little more. It's more of a it's an actual town that provides actual things, and you have to be in that town. You buy in. You don't just move there. You have to buy in, and once you buy into that town, what it provides, then you are surrounded with other people who are buying into that and have a vested interest in maintaining the sanctity of that village. 7, preventative health care will be free, and it's paid not by taxes, nor is it paid through insurance, if you will, because insurance isn't free, everybody knows that, but it will be paid through the crisis care. Now, the crisis care will be something where people will have insurance and things of that nature. But I see preventative health care as being free for everyone, because what you're doing is you're actually preventing a lot of the crisis. Now, how can you prevent the crisis and then want the crisis stuff to actually pay for it? Well, think about it. If you go to the doctor for a checkup, and let's say the real cost of that checkup is $100, just the real cost, right? If you're there for an hour, and the people have to get paid, right? Well, that would be free. But you only go once every 6 months, right? Now, the crisis might cost, say somebody broke their arm or things like that because they were doing something, that it would cost maybe $4,000 to fix or whatnot. Those $4,000 pay for the $100. Is it all planned out? No, this is just brainstorming. But I'd love to hear your comments. Go ahead and put those down there. 8, we will do away with high schools, and we will gravitate towards an apprenticeship program nationwide. That means that 8th grade, we'll go back to 8th grade. I kind of lean towards the Amish, if you will. But 8th grade will be the last grade of grade school. That's it. There's no high school. And I don't know, I think they might have college, but college might start after basically the 9th grade through the 12th grade, or maybe 9th grade through maybe for 8 years or something like that, for something specific, really specific. But I see that people will move towards apprenticeships, and they'll be getting paid for that. So if somebody wants to be a plumber or whatnot, they can go be a plumber, an apprentice, and they can switch that as they move along. They can continue to be an apprentice, They're going to be paid because they're paid as a laborer. They're paid low, but they're paid to learn on the job. 9, religion. We won't see as many churches per se, like these big institutions, we call the church buildings, if you will. I know people, they say the church is not a building, the church is people. I understand that. But for all intents and purposes, we call a big religious institution a church, right? So I see those as not necessarily dying away, if you will. I think they're going to get smaller. They're going to be a lot more places, but your religion is actually going to be more a communicated thing between people. Like, and I don't like to use this, but think about like Star Wars, how there's this essence of the Force and the essence of the Jedi. So you would have that kind of like the Bushido code or something like that. You knew a samurai when you saw it. You would also know somebody from your own religion if you saw it. With indicators, maybe they're wearing a shirt that says something, I'm Orthodox, such and such. 10, no, this one's kind of a sad one, but I believe that there's going to be a thing called the travel virus, and that's going to cripple the travel industry. Because there's going to be two parts to that. One, the travel virus will keep people from traveling, and when you lose economies of scale with large Airbuses and things of that nature, you lose the ability to travel as easily as we do now. Now, the second part to that is a virtual traveling. I see as virtual reality is getting better and better, and as people are doing Oculus Rift and things of that nature, they'll go on virtual vacations where they stay at home, but they're on this vacation. They'll rent out for example 2 weeks in Maui, and that is programmed into their Oculus Rift or whatever thing that they have, and they can go there and they can pick different things that they're going to do, or they can be there with other people who are doing it and not have to leave their home and not have to risk going out and going on that plane or going on that bus, spending all that time traveling, and then getting one, jet lag, and two, this travel virus, which I think is going to happen because it's going to mutate and then it's just going to blow everything up. Now that sounds very negative, but I see it kind of normalizing how we live. We're not going to travel as much, but we are going to spend time going to different places. It's just going to be virtual. And that is what I have as my 10 predictions for the future. I'll go ahead and see if I can put those down there so you can remember. I'd love to hear your comments. Share this video if you like, give it a thumbs up. I'd love that, and subscribe. And I'll have more content like this, stuff to make you think, stuff to make you feel. That's what I love to do. Again, go to jason-salas.com. That's jason-salas.com. If you haven't become an insider, become an insider. That way you can see my work in the process, in the progress. I'm working on a graphic novel right now, and you get to see scripts, pencils, character sketches, all that stuff while it's being produced in real time. Thank you very much, and you have a great day. And again, share down below. Tell me what you think the future is going to look like. I'd love to hear it.